In a previous video, we've already shown you how to replace or repair an inner tube when you're out training if you puncture. But what if you're out training, you've got a pump with you, but you run out of inner tubes and you've got no patches? Well, there are a couple of methods that you can use to try and get you home. Hiya. Yeah, can you come out and pick me up, please? First things first, find yourself a safe place away from the road and away from the traffic. And then, of course, you'll need to take the wheel out. Just like any other time that you change a punctured one, you want to check inside the tyre. As I said in the other video, just do it gently, just in case. Next thing, we've got to find out where the hole is on this inner tube. Make sure you keep your finger exactly where it is. You don't want to lose the exact point that the hole is. But all we're going to do is put a knot in the tyre. So the hole's just up here, to try and isolate the hole and stop any air getting to that particular part. Now it looks a bit crude. You want to get that knot as close to the end of the tube as possible, because of course you're shortening it, but there is quite a lot of stretchiness in these inner tubes, so it should still fill the entire tyre. Just a simple knot will do. Just trying to get this one up right towards the end. Now if it looks crude, that's because it is, but the idea is that this bodge will hopefully get us back home. So let's give it a go. As you can see, that seems to have worked okay. There's no actual air in that end part where the hole is, and it's staying up. All good so far. There we go, it's on. Now we don't want to put it up to 100 psi like we might do ordinarily, because that's a weak point now. This is simply a bodge job to get you home. So don't carry on with a 100-mile ride either. You just want to take the most direct route back to your home or wherever you're staying. Well, what do you do if the single knot bodge doesn't work? Well, it should do if it's just a small hole, but if you find that you've got a rip, then of course you go on to GCN's bodge number 2. So I think I've managed to isolate where the hole is in my tube. As you can see, this is a big gash, so that single knot might not work because it's more difficult to isolate this hole and stop the air coming out. So what do you do in this situation? Well, we're going to make 2 knots. But first of all, we need to rip the inner tube into 2 parts. The aim is to rip the inner tube and not to rip your hands. There we go. Now what we're going to do. So now we're ready to make the 2 knots. So starting at one end of the inner tube, just put a simple knot in it. Now you want the knot to be fairly close to the end, but of course not too close, so there's less chance of the air coming through. Once you've got it roughly like that, with around about 1 inch to spare at the end, just pull it as tight as you can get it. Up November. But what do you do if the single knot doesn't work and the double knot doesn't work? Well, you go on to GCN bodge number 3, which is grass. Now I always take some out of me in my back pocket, and we're going to stuff that in the tyre. Well, I have to be completely honest. As this tyre is at the moment, I don't think I could ride home on it, but I can feel as I'm riding along the bits where I've got that folded over pieces of grass in there, it is a lot more solid. So if I had more time and probably more inclination, because I'm freezing cold here, I probably could get away with it, but it's a last resort. And remember, if you do it this way, be very, very careful on the way home, particularly when you're going around corners. It's not going to have the same strength, and there's likelihood that the tyre might roll off the rim. So just be very careful on your way home. But if you do get away with it, let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so once you've found the offending hole which is leaking the air out of your inner tube, you need to take your patches